Welcome to round 9 of Formula 1 esports in the spring of 2025. We go to Barcelona, of course, because we follow the F1 calendar in this league. Not too many drivers competing around here though. Normally it is a very popular track in this game. Why is Seb in a safety car? Something must have gone wrong there because Seb is in a safety car. Normally he would be driving for the Williams team. He won the Miami Grand Prix while I wasn't here. Something went wrong in the settings there. Yeah. Also, while I wasn't commentating, I'm just commentating random stuff at this point. Not planning to be back on a regular basis anytime soon. Yeah, Toaster64 has gone to McLaren, as it seems. He was racing for Team Lotus while I was still there, but he has done so ever since the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And Pigeon is still in the V Cup, of course, because he's the team owner. And Frimpong actually managed to get a podium again in this league, his first of this season. And yeah, also his first ever in this league, I think, and the first double podium for Ferrari last time out at the Monaco Grand Prix. Very unusual podium. Pigeon also took second position. I should show you the lap times actually, because it's Pigeon on provisional pole position. Then we got Guillermo, as you can see now to the left of your screen, going up into second place onto the front row for now. We did invite a few more players, so maybe there will be more drivers in the race. Matt just joined, as I could see. Frimpong is 800ths behind Guillermo and currently in P3. Then Toaster, Kado only in P5, our championship leader by a mile. He's won 6 Grand Prix, missed the one at Miami and also China. But only took P1 and P2 in the other races. And yes, Seb sadly cannot compete in this car. We have 20 seconds on the clock. There's going to be one more lap after this one. Let's see if there will be any improvements on the 5th lap. Toaster64 improves his time by a bit, but not his position. Neither does Frimpong. He's now tied with Kado for 3rd position. So Kado now up into the top 3. I think Frimpong said it first, and we could consider that. So Frimpong could get 3rd here, as we ride on board with Kado around this track. We got 14 corners around this one. Pretty high speeds, most of them. Only turn 5 is very slow. Turn 10 is also a bit faster ever since the changes made in 2021. Kado goes across the line, cannot improve. Pigeon, Guillermo and Frimpong are also through already, and it looks like Pigeon is going to take pole position by over 2/10. That's quite a big margin in the top leagues of Ultimate Racing 2D. Yeah, as I said, still a tie for 3rd on the grid. But Frimpong has set that time first. I think we're going to see Matt as well in the race. He's the team owner of Haas and 3rd in the championship right now, 5 points behind McLaren driver Guillermo. And Toaster is in 4th in the championship. Seb in P5 actually for Williams. Now he's jumped Kado, or is actually tied with Kado, but he's got 1 race victory, which is the better result. So again, here is the full grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. Pigeon on pole position for Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. His 2nd pole position in the league. Guillermo 2nd in the championship and also 2nd on the grid, but he's got his rival Kado only starting in 4th position. The 2nd row will be completely colored in red. Then we get Toaster in the 2nd McLaren backing up Guillermo from 5th today. And we got Seb in the Jaguar, as it seems. Last time he was in the Williams. Maybe that is not correct yet, but Matt has now joined the grid. He will start for Haas in P7. Let's see what is going to happen. We've got 50 laps around this track, which is quite a lot. 3/4 of the race distance in real life. It is all to play for these 7 drivers. The safety car is at the back of the grid. I think everything will be fine. I will be the steward here as well. But we go towards the 5 red lights and we are underway at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. And we go into the first corner. There's a Ferrari off the track on the straight immediately. Guillermo and Pigeon go wheel to wheel through turn 3 and into the next long corner of turn 4. And they are both off. Guillermo goes into the back of Pigeon. Pigeon clearly annoyed with the Spanish driver and shoving him off the track again in the exit of the corner. The teammate of Guillermo, though, has taken the lead of the race. Fede F1 has also joined the race for Jaguar. Then we got Smooth 55. Both of these started at the back of the grid. Smooth Operator is in the Lotus and into the lead goes Fede. They must have been in the last row of the grid. And now they are leading 1 and 2. Hard tires for Smooth 55. And now off the track he goes. Both Ferraris and also Matt go through. It is still wheel to wheel for the lead of the race between Fede and Toaster. Now Matt goes through and more trouble for McLaren as Guillermo is still in last position. With Pigeon and Smooth 55 now also falling down the order. The safety car is ready for every 2 DNFs. It will come out. But the order now is Frimpong in the lead of the race. Fede down to 2nd place. Ferrari making ground from 3rd and 4th on the grid. Kado, the championship leader, is in 3rd, now goes up into 2nd position. He benefited of the fact that Fede just absolutely let Frimpong run out wide. And now 70 Aston Martin. They now do have points in this league, 30, because of Smooth Operator. Not all of these points have been scored for Aston Martin, but Smooth Operator did drive for Aston once. Anyway, now Seb is in the lead for them, which certainly hasn't happened yet. But still we go, racing with the driver that is destined to win the championship so far. Not many rounds to go in this championship because we split it halfway through the F1 season. We also went wheel to wheel for 3rd position down the straight. That's between Toaster and Pigeon. And we also just saw Guillermo appear in the frame again, but he's now gone off the track again. There is visible damage to the Ferrari of Frimpong. Only low damage set in the settings, but he has been involved in lots of chaos. And yeah, these drivers have been going up and down the order here. And now there is a fight, a 4-way battle for 1st position. Forming into turn 1. Kado just defends the inside line here, but Pigeon goes through. Because I think that Kado went a bit too much to the inside actually. And Toaster is in 2nd, Kado P3. Seb also trying to send it up the inside of turn 5. That can go wrong in special occasions. Now we got the pole sitter back where he was at the start. Unbelievable. But Pigeon actually recovering. 6 laps are done. 42 still to go. 43, however you count it. Now Seb goes into the lead of the race in the flat turn 9. Round the outside we go. Now we'll turn into the inside of turn 12 and also through the flat final 2 corners. Pigeon and Seb with a bit of damage. Kado looking a little bit better still. But it's soft tires on the cars of the top 2. Lots of raw talent behind them as Kado goes wide across the alternative line out here as Pigeon goes out onto the grass. And even loses P3 now. Toaster64 takes P3 as Kado storms through into the race lead on the medium tires. And let's see if Seb can now still fight back. We are on to lap 9. The soft tires now degrading. They are still manageable. But I think the mediums are just better at this stage now. Which will also benefit Toaster. Look at the damage that they have. Frimpong goes into the pit lane for his first stop, as does Frimpong right behind him. And we go wheel to wheel down the straight once more between Guillermo and Smooth55, who was up there in the podium spots for a brief moment. Fede also fell down again. He pitted already, but still he's not where he was at the start. Now back to the front. We still got Kado, 6-time winner this season and championship leader by 54 points. In P1, Seb goes for his first stop from softs to another set of softs, fastest compound, of course, and maybe some sorts of undercuts, but it is different strategies for the Frenchman in first, and also for Toaster, who's now been passed by his teammate Guillermo, who's already made his first stop and is on fresh softs as well. So McLaren parting ways in terms of strategy here. And Smooth is still in fourth for Lotus on the old hards, and through goes Seb though, fourth position. And then we get Pigeon having to defend from Matt into turn 1. Just a tire advantage for Pigeon. All of the drivers around him have pitted as well. That's not looking too good now for the pole sitter, as he makes a mistake in turn 9, and then he goes swooping around the outside. All of our drivers still in the race after 13 laps, as Guillermo now goes into P1 for the moment, because Kado pits from the lead and goes down to P5. Well, maybe the lead for him isn't that clear. There are fresh softs on the car of Seb as well, on the Aston. And that is a direct rival to the man that's been dominating this league ever since, yeah, pretty much the final race from last season as well. The legendary Qatar Grand Prix, where F1 Fan and Piggy fought for the championship in our test season. And now Kado is closing up to the rear wing of Toaster64. We go into turn 10. Kado sends it, lets his car understeer a bit, and cuts off any switchback opportunities for Toaster, who resigns from that fight and just goes into the pit lane for a set of medium tires. Looks like the softs are quite popular, but all the compounds have been in action already. Smooth is still going on his first set of hards. The top 4 are on softs, all going flat out at this stage. However, Guillermo's tire wear isn't looking good. But that slipstream certainly is. That might help him to stay in the fight with the rest here. Pigeon's tires are also still solid, but it looks like the fight currently for the win is between Seb and Kado. However, it is 3 seconds roundabout between Seb in first and Kado in P3. Seb has won the Miami Grand Prix this season. Of course, there was a sprint weekend. The sprint was won by Kado, and also took second place at Imola. He only joined and he also raced in the sprint at China. Yeah, he's been racing in the last 3 races. 4th position went to him at Monaco. His Frimpong just made a mistake on the screen while I was reading that information to you. Smooth is now in P9. He's going for strategy with very little stops, I think. He's on hards again, as Matt now is in the pits for the 2nd time and is on softs again. Yeah, he's kind of middle of the road so far. Everything seems to slot in a little bit in this phase of the race. However, Guillermo has already pitted for a 2nd time. We saw that his soft tires were already quite stressed. And Pigeon now also from P3 into the pits. Mediums for Guillermo, mediums for Pigeon 2. And it's 1.5 seconds with no other car between Seb and Kado. But look how Seb is having to fight the car through the long right-hander of turn 12. That's a very deadly corner for the tires. Yeah, Kado still does have 1 lap fresher tires, and I think that difference is very visible right now. Maybe Kado also being a bit nicer to his tires on track here. As Frimpong becomes our first retirement of the race. We'd only need 1 more now to call out the safety car. Pigeon, after his 2nd stop, is in P5 and being chased by Matt, whose soft tires still look pretty good as well. The Visa Cash Up Racing Bulls are in P3 in the championship by just 1 point over Matt, so that is a direct battle for the team's championship at least. Matt is clearly ahead of Pigeon in the drivers so far though. Matt on 92 points, Pigeon on 51, but Kado also scoring good points so far for the Racing Bulls. And for Haas it was Sam, of course, at Japan. That was a very impressive performance, I remember that still. And we also had Glow, Apple Tree, Cider. I'm not sure if someone else was hopping teams in between. By the way, there was a 2nd stop for Seb already in the Aston. That's something that I overlooked for now, but he was leading the race comfortably enough. If you are fighting a URL champion and also championship leader, there are crazy things happening in the pit lane. That's Kado just coming out there. Someone that's Fetty was in the pits. I'm not sure if the pit lane was ghosted because it seemed like Kado was being held up, or maybe it just looked funny. Oh, there's Pigeon being pushed off the track on the exit of turn 5 by Toaster. And also Matt now goes through, and the Haas versus Visa Cash App battle has been interrupted by our team's championship leaders. Pigeon takes to the escape road in turn 1, and that's cost him a lot of time. Now back to the battle of for the lead, because Guillermo's on a different strategy, going longer, but Seb with an aggressive move in turn 10. I think it was still fair. Guillermo had his nose in, but just carried too much speed, I think, around the outside of turn 10 there. Still, the Spaniard, he's trying to get the slipstream just like he did on the old softs before. And now I think he can stay in the slipstream for quite some time. I think this is playing nicely into his hand, into his cards. And I think that is going to boil over if we see Kado actually reaching the pair of them. How much is Guillermo fighting the Aston here? Matt and Pigeon are now on their own. I think Pigeon is going to go through now. Or it's because of Matt pitting. Because Matt was on older softs. And Smooth 55 now middle of the road again. Being flushed up because others pitted for the second time. He's still on the one stop, and I think he's maybe going for a third set of hearts as well, and only doing 2 stops today. Down the start-finish straight we go with Guillermo. Just lifting off ever so slightly. He does not want to get past Seb here. And should we count Fede as a DNF? I'm not sure. He's just in the pit lane all the time, but he is actively... I don't know. We could have called a safety car maybe, but we could also just get going again, or I don't know. I don't think we can count that because I couldn't know at that time when he was going into the pit lane. If I called it now, it would be a bit arbitrary, I think. As Smooth is just being passed by Matt again. Quicker hard tires on the Haas. And we get Toaster once again in between that pack. Toaster on hard tires, also very interesting. And Pigeon, one position further ahead currently in P4. As we see Guillermo now pit from second position. And he goes for softs. Now this is heating up even more. And once again, we got no car between Kado and Seb. And I think there was a mistake for Seb or something, because suddenly the gap's gone down. Even under half a second momentarily. But also Kado is struggling on the old softs. Seb's racing lines aren't looking that clean. I think it's also a bit of lag though. And Seb pits 1 lap earlier than Kado. Kado did have 1 lap fresher tires, I think, all the way through. Let's see if he's going to come in now. Of course, essentially still an undercut by Seb, who was ahead anyway. Let's see if Kado might now fancy fresher tires towards the end. A lot fresher tires. And stay out once again. The moment of truth has come through the final 2 corners, and Kado is committing to get fresher tires for the final shootout here at Barcelona. Seb is on the medium tires now. Maybe Kado will fancy the softs here. Oh man. Guillermo's also already gone for softs, but he's certainly gonna have to pit again. There's no way that he's going through till lap 49 with this set. Yeah, then we got Toaster leading the fight between Matt and Smooth and Pigeon. But Smooth now will have to come in soon. I think he's gonna be fine with mediums as well. Oh, Kado also off the track at turn 5. And Kado now has pitted. Sorry, I only catch that now. But he goes for the mediums as well. And no, he did not make it work. That he can go to soft Cillian, but it would still be a challenge from now, and he didn't have the crazy tire advantage over Seb earlier. But still, now it will certainly be noticeable in the final stages. Gap is at 2.5 seconds right now. And Guillermo in the lead, of course. Safety car could play in his... could be in his favor right now, but he wouldn't come out ahead of Kado anyway. Maybe ahead of Kado, but not ahead of Seb. That's for sure. Yeah, but he is still putting himself into a nice place here. The gaps are quite big at the front now. Very different strategies in the midfield as well. Toaster and Haas, Matt with 3 stops at the same tire age almost as Toaster. And then Pigeon going for it right now on the softs, but that's going to be close towards the end here. And Smooth strategy not working out so far. Not sure if it's gonna come his way again when the others... if the others pit again. I don't think Toaster and Matt are gonna have to. It's gonna be a pain for them though. Maybe Pigeon? I don't know, they all don't look that good in terms of strategy and tire wear towards the end. I think it's gonna be a drift fest here in the midfield. And also for Guillermo if he doesn't pit soon. I think he's gonna be disappointed that he won't be left in the lead. Oh, and Ferry has left. I think. Has Ferry left now? I don't see him anymore. Oh, wow. We see Ferry go round. And now if he leaves, that certainly is a DNF. We're gonna have to wait for the message, but we will have a safety car. It won't come in time for anything to change for Guillermo, I think. But still, he might be back in position here. Safety car's been deployed. Seb goes into the pit. Guillermo goes into the pit. Kado has gone through. I gave the message to the safety car that it should pick up Kado first. That shouldn't happen. But anyway, we got Fran 3 is, probably Francis, doing the job here today. And that is Kado. Indeed. Yeah, now here we are. Kado should be in the lead ahead of Guillermo. Right? I think so. Oh, and the hard tires are really bad on the safety car. Oh no. Yeah, I think there's a queue formed already. I think we're gonna call the safety car in pretty soon again. We got Toaster 64 now in P3. The safety car is really struggling around here. Seb has gone down to 4th position. Then we got Matt P5 leading the fight against Pigeon. We are all on softs now as Guillermo backs them up, and we are going to have a few laps of action still, which very much reminds me of the real life race. Guillermo also deciding to go very early, stretching out the field as we go down the long front straight, but Kado has managed to stay with him, and he goes round the outside of turn 1 through the runoff, but somehow he still keeps a lot of speed inside for turn 2, and I think that was a valid move for Kado to retake the lead of the race. Seb also wants his positions back and kicks off one of the McLarens, and that is Guillermo going down to P6. And Seb lets Guillermo through again, which costs him even more positions. Pigeon has got the restart absolutely nailed, as has Matt, up to P3 and P4. And now there's bigger points on the table, even in the fight that they are having today. Toaster 64, certainly one of the winners of the safety car phase as well, as he goes up to second position. All on soft tires now. I think all of the midfield drivers would have struggled. But now they are right with the top drivers. Kado still in P1, but Guillermo and Seb have suffered big losses here. As we go 3 wide down the straight, or maybe not. Matt's somehow backing out here. Toaster defends from Pigeon through the first 2 corners and also into the 4th one. He claims the inside line. Now goes wide at turn 5, also kind of being pushed off in turn 6. The Pigeon now in second at a very bad exit for Toaster out of turn 12. Through the final 2 sweepers, and Seb and Matt are past. It's coming undone for McLaren as Toaster puts his car between the 2 drivers racing ahead of him, and that somehow allows Guillermo to go through. I'm not sure if that was planned teamwork. But McLaren need Guillermo to be up there. By the way, Ferrari are our leaders in the team's championship. That was a wrong statement by myself earlier. But of course they are also still kind of in the fight with McLaren. 39 points back is the Papaya team, but especially for the Drivers' Championship, where Kado is clear by a mile at the moment. Guillermo needs to catch up, but he won't as it stands, because Kado is still in first. Then we got Pigeon second from pole position. A very clean race for his standards, I must say. At least in terms of not TNFing. He's not the dirtiest driver, that's not what I wanted to say. Then we get Guillermo and Toaster kind of getting it sorted again though. P3 and P4 for McLaren, and Seb P5 smooth. Matt down to P7 now. Wow, he's a long way back now. Something must have happened there. So Pigeon is going to win the Constructors Battle for P3 by a mile now, and he will extend the 1-point advantage that Visa Cash App Racing Bulls have over Haas right now. But Kado is going to take another 25 points home as he wins the Spanish Grand Prix. That was not the easiest of races for him to win, but he has still done it by 1.5 seconds over Pigeon at the end. Thanks to Francis for doing the job. Next time, maybe get new tires. But yeah, fastest lap goes to Pigeon. I think there's no extra point for that anymore in this league as well. But nice job by him, the only driver to go anywhere near the 31s. Then we get Guillermo taking the podium still for McLaren in P3. Then we got 7 P4 for Aston Martin. Still great points for them. They are... they're still... It says that they're still set in last position. Actually, Smooth Operator has raced for Aston at Monaco, but he DNF'd. So that's the only reason why the Aston icon shows up there. But it's the first points for Aston Martin. And Toaster, currently 4th in the championship, gets another 10 points to his name. Then Smooth 55. Not with the greatest of strategies. He still did show glimpses of hope throughout the race, but that safety car certainly saved him from something that probably would have gone wrong still. It's all gone wrong for Matt in the final few laps, where it didn't look anymore what happened. And Fede then finally decided to really DNF, gave us the safety car action towards the end, and Frimpong retiring. So only one Ferrari making the finish, but two McLarens, which is very interesting for the team's championship. It's going to be 25 points for Ferrari, of course, and then also 25 for McLaren. So nothing lost. Ferrari with the advantage still. Finally, let's see the updated standings after 9 rounds, which are now being made by Kado, and they look absolutely stunning, and they are made quickly as well. So thanks a lot to our championship leader. 64 points is the difference between him and Guillermo, and it grew by another 10 points today. And we get Matt in third position. Not a very successful day for him today, and also the last few weekends didn't look that great, as I see now. And we get Toaster taking 5th today, still in P4 in the standings. Then we got Seb now here for Aston Martin, scoring their first points of the season. Pigeon goes ahead of his teammate Kado with another 2nd place. He took pole position and podium for the first time last week, and he decided to do it again straight away. Smooth Operator, racing for Lotus today, is in P8 and now ahead of Frimpong, who did not finish today's race. F1 fan, who isn't even part of the Discord server anymore, which you definitely should join, is still in 10th position. But Fede might have a say about this, but he retired today. And in the team's fight, Ferrari and McLaren scored the same number of points today, as I already said. Racing Bulls extend their advantage over Haas now. Williams still in 5th position. Seb gave them their first victory in the league a few weekends ago. A very enjoyable race. Lots of action on track in terms of strategies, in terms of safety car, in terms of wheel-to-wheel action. Yeah, the 50 laps certainly didn't feel long at all. Kado had to fight for his win against multiple rivals, but still ended up on top. Congrats to him, and we will see you when we go to the Canadian Grand Prix in 2 weeks.